How's it going, everybody? My name is Bo, and I'm a home theater and movie enthusiast. And today's video is going to be a follow-up to my previous video where I gave basically my top 4 best decisions I've made for my home theater in the past 3 years. I kind of went over most of the major decisions I made. I want to amend my number 4. I want to add a number 5. I want to explain my number 1 and give a little more insight into that as well. So I'm not sure what I'm going to call this, but if you haven't seen that video, there's a card. I'll link it in up here. I'll also put it in the description of this video. And basically, like I said, that was the best decisions I made for my home theater, and I talked about all the ones I made the past 3 years, all the major ones, and I ranked them. I just want to, right off the bat, talk about my number 1, where for me it was getting out of the mindset of only watching movies if they had an Atmos mix, and then if they had a highly rated audio mix or highly rated video mix, and just saying screw it and just watching whatever. You know, I have a bunch of movies on Blu-ray. I'm building my 4K collection, and I just said, you know what, I'm just going to start watching movies. And it really started once I got my scope screen, and then once I got the JVC projector, it just like the floodgates opened. I'm watching everything. So one thing I didn't mention was, I said that I gave up only deciding to watch movies with good audio and video. That doesn't mean I don't still love when a movie has amazing audio and amazing video quality. Like, that to me is the dream scenario. You have a good movie or a great movie and you have amazing audio and video. There's nothing better. And yeah, I can see wanting to have that for every movie, but unfortunately not a lot of movies fit that criteria. So you're only limiting yourself on what you're going to watch. You're only limiting yourself on how much you're going to be using your room. And even the movies that have an Atmos mix, it's unfortunate that a lot of those movies don't use the height channels very well. You know, it can have Dolby Atmos on the back of the box and have little to no bass, little to no surround activity, almost no height channel activity. And on the flip side, you can have a 5.1 mix that's absolutely dynamic and absolute banger of an audio mix with tons of surround activity. And if you use the up mixer, whether you use Dolby Surround or the DTS Neuro X, you can get better results with a 5.1 mix than an Atmos mix. So don't be fooled by that label on the box or on your streaming platform. A good or great 5.1 mix will always beat a mediocre to bad Atmos mix. It doesn't matter. You know, it's just, like I said, you don't even need to use the up mixer. Watch Tenet. Watch Interstellar. You know, Christopher Nolan uses 5.1. I put Tenet up against any of the best Atmos demos. Like, Tenet, to me, is one of the best sounding movies that I own. And that's a 5.1 mix. So yeah, I can understand when you get new equipment, you spend all this money, you know, put your ceiling speakers in, you get a new receiver, you get new subwoofers. Yeah, you want to take advantage of those, and I get that. But at the same time, if that's all you're gonna watch, then you're not gonna have that much to watch, and that's just the reality of it. And it sucks, but that's just, it is what it is. I wish I would have clarified that. Yeah, I love when movies look and sound great, but the fact is, not a lot of movies, percentage-wise, fit that criteria. So for me, the most important thing is using your room. You know, you spend all that money, use the room. Yeah, if it doesn't have great bass, that's unfortunate. I wish every movie had amazing sound, but that's not the reality. I watched American Made with Tom Cruise last weekend, and I never seen it before. And it had some, it was DTSX. It had some birds chirping and stuff above, and some decent ambient, but overall it wasn't an audio showcase. Video quality was really good, but I just got sucked into this movie. I was just totally engrossed in this movie. I wasn't even thinking about audio and video. I was just sucked into the movie, and that's really what you hope to have, is like a really good movie. Now, again, if it has great sound, great video, that's can elevate it to the next level. But since I got my JVC in March, I've watched so many more movies than I had in the past in a similar time frame, 4 or 5 months, whatever it's been. So I'm just using my room a lot more and enjoying it a lot more, And that's, yeah, I just wanted to explain that a little further. Also, my number 4, I said, was lowering the noise floor in my room. So making my HVAC quieter, changing my vent, moving a few things around, moving the projector out of the room, made the room quieter. But I can't really say that's number 4 unless I include all the other acoustic treatment I've done, because those things in tandem all created what is the way my room sounds now. So I think the AC might be on right now and I can barely hear it. But that wouldn't be as significant without the absorption and the other treatments, which make it so I can hear my center channel way better. Dialogue is clear. My side and rear surrounds were way more clear after I added acoustic treatment. So everything together, I would say, is number 4. I do want to add a number 5, and that was flattening my bass response. Yeah, I had to add 2 subwoofers in the front, but that was just to replace my tower speakers, the bass those provided. So I don't really say adding the multi-subs. I say more is just flattening the curve, because I had 2 significant spikes. I forget what frequencies. I want to say 40, 50 hertz range and like 60, 70-ish hertz range, which made certain movies sound so loud and so unbalanced that I had to just turn the whole system volume down or try to lower the subwoofer trim for specific movies. And it just really sucked having to do that. So now getting those peaks flattened out, I don't have to worry about Blade Runner 2049 blowing my subwoofers. Yeah, I still listen to that a little bit quieter than some other movies, and it sounds amazing. But definitely flattening the peaks really improved the overall experience in my room. And going from movie to movie, I didn't have to worry about turning the volume down because I was going to get a huge spike of bass. So that was definitely a significant one. Yeah, I put it at 5th, but they're all pretty significant improvements. And then if I go beyond like the last 3 years, I do want to mention a few like decisions I made that I stand by and I really would encourage, or if somebody asked me advice, something I would say, definitely want to do. The first thing is, somebody left a comment in my last video about this is a black cave, which it's not. Yeah, I only have 4 can lights in the ceiling, and with the white screen, it's hard for my camera to see the room the way my eyes see it. Sitting here right now, this is a fairly bright room. My carpet's a grayish color. My walls are a bluish gray. I got some light gray acoustic panels. It's not a black room, but a good decision I made years ago was painting a ceiling black and doing a black front wall. To me, I don't know where I'd rank that on the all-time best decisions, but it's pretty up there. I think it really improves the movie watching experience. It does help sell the feeling that you're watching a movie in a theater and not just at home, and it helps everything disappear except for the movie. And yeah, light still bounces off my ceiling because I have a low ceiling of 6'8", so light will bounce off that. But having the front third be black and having my black fabric acoustic panels and the black stage and the black front wall, yeah, you might say it's a black cave if you're only looking at that, but it really does help draw your eyes solely into the movie. Another good decision which ties into this was I used to have white trim along the baseboard, some white trim on the vertical third of my room, some 6-inch boards. I'll show photos of that, and then what it looks like now. So that all ties in. There was obviously two separate decisions years apart, but getting rid of that white trim was a huge decision. And so for me, having a black or a really dark ceiling and a really dark front wall was a great decision. Getting rid of white trim was another great decision. And just, something that I mentioned in the last video as part of like lowering the noise floor was getting the projector out of the room. But there's 2 other things that make that a good decision. One is the heat is no longer pumping into this room. Now, you got a 2000 lumen lamp, a fan exhausting all the hot air that comes off that lamp, and then your room gets really hot. So that's a benefit. The other benefit is just walking in the room and not seeing a projector hang from the ceiling, especially with my low ceiling height. It just adds this element to the room that subconsciously maybe even just feels more like you're in a theater when you have the projector shooting through a window in the back wall and you don't see the actual projector. More importantly though is the reduction of heat, which was improved also by I added a air return vent in the ceiling to suck the hot air out, any warm air that's in here. So that's it for that. Now I'll get into a couple more decisions that I didn't mention in the previous video, or I briefly mentioned, I should say. The next one would be getting rid of my bipole side surrounds that were up near the ceiling, as you can see in the photo here, and instead going with in walls, which I had to make vertical columns for because actually the wall cavities weren't deep enough and there was a stud on this side. So I had to build the columns so I could put the side surrounds in, and but having them lower, having them shoot directly into my ears instead of being diffused was actually a really big improvement to the audio. I've gotten used to it now, but when I first switched, it was just like it was night and day. And then couple that with the rear surrounds, which used to be also up near the ceiling, in the back room, some bookshelves, and doing vertical columns and doing in walls, and that was also a really good decision. And then to finish up the back wall, getting rid of the old curtain I had for years. I mean, from 2006 until like earlier this year, 2023, I had a damn curtain in the back of my room. So getting rid of the curtain, having actual doors to open up. I'm not sure what the sound diffusion panel, if you will, does, but just visually I think it looks way nicer. And then having actual doors, it just, why didn't I do it sooner? I don't know. I'm glad I did it now. I think it looks great. It functions really well. It feels great to have actual doors, and I'm really happy with the design I came up with and the execution. So that's gonna be it for the decisions. I don't know if that's 9 or 10. I honestly didn't keep track. But I just want to finish up the video by saying thanks to everybody who commented on the previous video. I think I replied to everybody. If I didn't, I apologize. I was getting a lot of comments in a row while I was at work, and I might have missed some. But yeah, I always appreciate the comments. I definitely appreciate that more than a few people have noticed that I'm kind of different when it comes to the home theater content creators. I speak more from a viewer perspective, I guess. I'm not, no offense to anybody, I'm never gonna review products. I don't ever want to use my room as like a product review where I'm constantly switching equipment, so I don't want to be like that. I just want to give you guys an honest take on this hobby and kind of cut through the BS. I'm not a trend follower. I'm not easily persuaded by peer pressure. I mean, I can see something that I like, and then that might influence a decision I make or a design choice, but I'm not like getting swayed by like promotions to talk about Kaleidoscape or certain brands or anything like that. Like, I'm gonna be real with you, and that's just kind of the way I've always been. I'm not like super excited. I don't get super high. I don't get super low. I just try to shoot straight, and I've noticed people have commented that they appreciate that, which I really appreciate, because that's who I am and that's how I try to be. And I get it. Some people can make a living off of YouTube, and I'm not trying to do that. So like I said, I'm not going to be pushing products on you. I'm not going to be reviewing anything. I did want to review the silver ticket screen because I've been very happy with it, but I never did. I also want to be using my room, not sitting in here making videos, even though I do make videos and I have, I enjoy it and I like the interaction. It cuts into my movie watching time. So that's why I don't do constant videos. And again, just want to thank those that have noticed and have commented. I appreciate you guys. I'm a movie first guy. Like this, all this is about watching movies. Everything I've done is about improving the movie watching experience. So everything else is kind of uh, cherry on top, I guess. You know, like, yeah, I love how my room looks just sitting in here, but it wouldn't mean anything if it didn't improve the movie watching experience for me and help me get lost in these worlds, these fantasy worlds, these sci-fi worlds, you know. And yeah, that's what it's all about for me. So big shout out to the rest of you that are like me, that love movies first. I don't really get too involved in the gear side of things, the equipment side. You know, I just don't think about that stuff unless I'm going to buy some speakers. Once I get them and get them installed and do any tweaking I'm going to do, I just move on, and I'm just all about the movie watching. So anyway, that's going to be it. Thanks everybody for watching. Like I said, leave me some comments, and we'll see you on the next video.